So let us continue our contemplation of the Tattvabodha talks. So we are in the talks between 73 and 74. So we are looking at the Jivan Mukta and how Jivan Mukta is free from the circle or the cycle of karma. And that's the main focus of the last few talks, the final set of talks. So who would like to begin today? Does Shubhaji like to summarize 73 and then we can go to 74? Are there any points that Shubhaji wants to bring up? You are speaking on mute, Shubhaji.
I don't have anything specific on 73, sir.
Okay.
I just made a small summary, that's it.
Whatever summary, you can probably say that and then we can move on to 74.
The one what I came across is there is a reference to Bhagavad Gita 4.37.
Okay.
So I found that if I shall I read that?
Yeah, please.
Yatai damshi samidognya.
4.37, is it?
Yes, if you could put it there, yeah. Yeah. I found this reference. So it talks about the knowledge of fire. When we have the knowledge of fire, all the material activities get burnt. So we will be more like a jnani. So the jnani part comes in this reference. They have referred. So this is what I was. If you could put more light on what exactly Krishna is trying to tell us here. That is the doubt I had.
Okay, so would Padmaji or Saravanji want to give an initial view? So Krishna is saying, as the fire would reduce wood to ash, the fire of knowledge, all the reactions from material activities, it would burn the reactions, is what Krishna is saying. What is the fire of knowledge that Krishna is referring to?
Knowledge of the self.
One is knowledge of the self. So what does he mean by knowledge of the self burning all reactions from material activities? What is a material activity?
Duality in our life.
So what is a material activity? What do you understand by material activity? Yeah, Padmaji.
Yeah, so what I understand is any material activity is driven by desires. So when Krishna says the fire reduces wood to ashes, similarly the fire of knowledge, it burns the the ajnana. So usually a jnani's actions are not driven by any desires. It is only because of some good that he wants to do, is his actions are driven only by that. It is not selfish or it is not for gaining anything for himself. So I think that is what he's talking about here, is what is knowledge? The knowledge that actions are still going to happen, but where are the what is the intention behind those actions? That is the thing that is talking about burning here, I feel. So it is the desire, it is the karma driven by desires that has to be burnt. And when that is burnt, then that is mostly related to all material things which we are gaining for ourselves or for our loved ones and our near and dear ones. It is not essentially.
So one thing you are saying is there is no selfish desires.
Yeah.
But what does Krishna mean by it burns all reactions?
Yeah. So when the karmas are not focused on achieving anything for the self, then you wouldn't want to worry about the reactions also. When you are doing something for yourself, then the question of whether I got it or not and further reactions and further karmas are based on that. But when you are doing it for a selfless thing, like when you are doing it for Loka Kalyan, then you will not be worried about, you just keep on doing your karmas. You don't worry about the outcomes of those things.
Very nice.
Yeah, that is one thing. And what I wanted to, if you could go back to 73, sir, if Sarvananji doesn't want to.
So let's make sure that, on this particular shloka, because Shubhaji raised a question.
Yeah.
We complete this discussion and then move on to.
Yeah. So this is what I wanted to say, because ultimately for a jnani, everything is mithya, right? Subject and object both are mithya. So jnani wouldn't worry about all this. Only the karma that he has to do, he will continue doing for Loka Kalyana. There will be no worry about what is the reaction or what is the result of this karma that I am doing, because it is selfless and it is it is for the benefit of the rest of us. So
Yeah, Sarvananji, what is it?
Very much along the lines of what Padma just said, maybe just putting it in different words. Between Ajnani and Jnani, both are involved in action. And for Ajnani, while action leads to further karma, because the Ajnani thinks that he is doing it and like it's because of his effort things are happening, and as a result he also takes over the karma and he has to go through it. While for a jnani, he's doing it for Loka Kalyana, right? Not for him. And number two, he clearly knows that it is not it is happening through him, while like it is there is no ego involved then. So as a result, like the reactions from the material activities is, I would say, is the karma which is burnt for him. It does not add up. That is the difference for a realized person.
Excellent.
Yeah.
So the fire of knowledge, what is the jnana that is being referred here, is number one is about who is the kartru? Am I the doer? That is the first question.
Yeah.
So we have seen that I am not the doer. Prakriti is the doer. So that is one of the fundamental catch. I am the doer. When I am the doer, what is the next natural outcome? I am the enjoyer.
Yeah.
I am the bhokta.
Karma phala. Yeah.
Karma phala. So we have seen when I am not the doer, karma phala is a natural outcome depending upon various circumstances and various intentions behind the action. Every action yields a result. But am I the enjoyer? So therefore, in both of these, the I, who is the I, is another fundamental question. So the I, which claims the ownership of the action, the I which comes to enjoy the fruit of the action, that itself is a mythical, yeah, is a non-existential. So that ego itself is non-existential, and I am the doer is a wrong understanding when the ego comes into the picture. And of course, because of the ego, I am the enjoyer comes into the picture subsequently. So this is the right understanding, the fire of the knowledge. So when so you cannot burn the space. You can burn a thing. So I can light fire to wood or paper or some material thing, whereas space continues. There is nothing that can be done to the space. So in that clarity of who I am, where is the reaction happening? So that is what Sri Krishna is pointing us once again. I am not the doer, I am not the enjoyer.
He is like undisturbed. The Jnani is undisturbed by the outcome of the karma as well.
So it is it's a space. What will you do to the space?
Sorry, I didn't catch. What will you do to
The space.
space?
You can cut, you can burn things, but what will you do to the space? What can you do to the space? What will happen to the space? So does that bring clarity to Shubhaji's question?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so please tell me, Shubhaji, what is that you understood?
The only doubt I had is the fire of knowledge, that part. The knowledge, is it related to the same knowledge what we are talking about in this? I just wanted to relate it to this Jnani part. Yeah, Jnani part. That was the doubt I had. So yeah, I got it clarified. So it's the Jnani, fire of knowledge. Once the Jnani gets the Jnana, then he is free from all these dualities and also from these materialistic activities.
What jnana? That is important. Yeah, it is being said it is the fire of the knowledge, but what is that knowledge?
Yeah, it is the knowledge that I am not the doer.
I'm not the doer, I'm not the
I'm
enjoyer.
not the enjoyer, yeah, both.
Because fundamentally, these are the two catches, because there is a ego entity that exists, and the ego entity claims the ownership of the action, and of course the fruit of the action. Subsequently, that follows.
So
All
that
right.
I did thought actually limits you. So when I am not the that one the limiting thing, when I say I did, when that is gone, then you have that knowledge, right? At the end of, yeah. Yeah, got it.
So even the karma itself, the notion of I am doing is emerging from a notion of I-ness. So at the root of this is the I-ness, the ego, that I am a separate thing.
Yeah, that's the correlation I wanted between this shloka and the T73. Yeah, thank you.
Sure.
So this shloka was mentioned, is it, Shubhaji? Looks like I missed it.
No, not in this. I read somewhere else.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
I was just going through all the Jivan Mukti.
Okay, but it's a right shloka you got.
Yeah, yes. In that I got.
How does
Okay.
that? Okay, excellent. Yeah, Padmaji, you wanted to bring up some point from 73.
Yeah, I'll take it up after 2 minutes.
Okay, sure. Then, Saravanji, do you want to continue with
Yeah.
74?
So continuing on what Shubhaji said, it is what is there in T73. We started with Siddha Prajna, where Jnani is undisturbed by the result of the actions, or or in general about the world itself. Because one, he knows that everything is transient in nature. World, by what we have learned, is something that changes all the time, and also there is it is formed by dualities. So so obviously you cannot the sorrows start when Ajnani wants only the world in certain form, right? Only joy and like only good things, right? While a jnani knows that they come and they all exist together. Where there is joy, there will be sorrow. Where there is day, there is night. Right? So where there is development, there will be destruction. So 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 that basically leads a jnani to be undisturbed, right? So one, and as a result, jnani also does not have a expectation. And it continues in the next talk also, where the jnani sees the world as a mystery, right? He as a mystery, and as a result, like we discussed also about how a jnani is able to maintains a steady state, which is not getting upset or angry, right? Which all come from having expectation that something should happen in certain way, while obviously that it is not happening by him, and it is part of the changing world, right? Which is a mystery, and that's where Ajnani has a problem, where like every karma is done with expectation, and when does not when the outcome does not align with the expectation, get into anger, saying like this is not, it's not fair, and like I put the efforts and it did not happen, right? Which is beyond just doing. Is right. So also again, a jnani doesn't have any love or hate as well, because jnani knows that there is only one, which is Brahman, and all that he sees are characters of the same Brahman. And by hating someone, you are going to hate yourself, because there is only one, there is no other, right? So having that clarity helps to see everyone in the same way, right? So that's the summary of talk 73. And 74 again further goes into this, like how the jnani sees the world as a mystery, and then like why is atma unknowable for a jnani, right? As we expect a jnani to know everything, should have, because he has the clarity, right? So the explanation is again the knowledge of this, I'm not this body, mind, intellect, right? It is again in the intellect domain, right? And and the world that we see is through the senses and the mind, and obviously we know that there are limitations of the instrument, both the mind and the senses. Senses cannot see everything in the truest form, while mind keeps on changing. So whatever senses project as well, the mind can read it in different ways at different times, right? So as a result, Jnani knows that the world projected by the senses and mind is not the true thing, and so he sees it as a mystery that like he himself doesn't know what it is truly, right? He lets it go as is. While Ajnani will say that I know, I can see it, I know it. Right. So Jnani sees it as a mithya, as a changing thing, and like leaves it there. Like how and it's not disturbed by it. Like how we are not disturbed by watching a movie on a screen. Right. So it just keeps, it's something that keeps changing all the time, and we leave it there. Right. And the same way, Jnani doesn't say like what he sees, he knows it completely. And an example given is like a flower, right? When you see a flower, you say that, yeah, I know that this shape and form is the flower. While it's for a practical purpose, we just take it as the form and leave it there, and we say that we know it. But Jnani sees beyond the flower, because the way one can go into through the flower, he can see the entire creation itself, because the flower comes from branch, plant, and earth, and which is part of galaxies, and like you can see a complete thing in the flower, right? It depends on where you limit your view. And that's where he also, Guruji quotes of what Buddha said, to see the entire universe in a grain of sand, right? If you can see it, is the enlightenment. Most of the times, for Ajnani, the problem starts because we like have a limited view on something, and we try to decide, and we don't, without a full picture, obviously it leads to different opinions, and we get into trouble. Right. So that's where how the views of a Jnani and Ajnani differ. Right. So that's about the way they view it, and again, coming to the next question, why is Atma unknowable for a Jnani? Knowing requires a knower and a known. You need a subject to know object, right? And when Jnani sees himself as the awareness, and in the awareness there is no other, which means like there is no subject and object, and as a result, like there is nothing to be known by a knower. It's both are one. And the example given is a sun, where like you cannot go and ask sun what is light, because it knows only light, and it doesn't know anything else to talk about, and it is light, right? So that is where like the unknowable is coming from the awareness standpoint, which is beyond the subject-object domain. Right. So this is where I will stop.
Very nice, Arunji. But the question is always in the realm of the action. How do you reconcile? So if there is nothing to be known, there's nothing to be really understood. But then how does action emanate then? How do you act in a given circumstance?
Mm-hmm.
Because action requires certain clarity of.
Yeah, that's why I was trying to put this picture. If I got your question right. This like like there are two planes all the time. This Adhyatmika plane, where I'm only the awareness, but then like I'm in the transactional plane where I'm interacting, right? And it's the Adhyatmika plane, like where I can say that like there is no desire, there is no action to be done. While as a body mind, it will continue to do because it is part of the Jagat, right? Right. This body mind is also while it sees separate from the Jagat, it is part of the Jagat, and like the Prakriti will keep things moving. It is not that like I am moving. Okay. I as a awareness, I'm watching while the condition is being continuously created by the Prakriti, and this body mind will react to the Prakriti, to the conditions, and let it happen without having expectation of, oh, why is this happening, or I'm praying, hopefully this should happen. That is where I feel is the separation, like if I can move from not praying for something and just moving back and just witnessing, then like you are there in both the planes at the same time.
Okay, but even in such a thing, actions are done, and actions happen out of decisions. Decisions are nothing but thoughts.
Yeah.
And those have to be done in the framework of a certain boundary.
Yeah.
Yeah. So because any thought, any action-oriented thought is based on a certain boundary.
Mm-hmm.
So is it that you know fully well that you don't know, but still you are deciding and acting? What is happening there?
No, so one, so see, this is I would maybe bring the point of dharma, which is have dharma guide the actions so that it is in the right frame, because the action can be random things, like where there is a question of what is to be done, what is dharmic, do it that way, number one. And number two, what has happened, the outcome is what was supposed to happen, it has happened. And again, it is not because I did it or because of my effort, right? So when it comes to deciding, I would say use dharma to decide on what, but then like the outcome will happen based on a lot more, or the combined, the universal mind, basically based on what is supposed to happen, it is happening. Because I've seen that let's say in a situation, yeah, one individual may do with the right intent, the best effort, but it is not necessary that the outcome will be in the best way, because there are a lot more characters are involved in that situation, and the collective karma comes into play. So as a result, in a transactional plane, I can never say that like I am doing it, so like it should be my way. It is a collective karma that is in play. So only I can, from this body mind point of view, have dharma to guide the action and leave it there.
Very nice.
So that clarity should be there. Yeah. From this jnana.
Padmaji, Shubhaji, any questions to ask Saravananji?
No, sir, no questions.
All right. So Padmaji, what is your representation on 74?
Yeah, so sir, before 74, I will touch up a little bit on 73.
Sure.
For me, the takeaway for me from this 73 is ego becomes the servant of a jnani. That is the most important thing for me in 73, because of which I think the jnani has no fear, no attachment, no anger, because all this arises because of the drama or whatever the ego is playing, and it is necessarily coming up from some kind of expectation, and the expectation not being fulfilled, or some lack in what was expected, and what has come out as a result. So the anger, the fear, or attachment, everything arises from there. So for me, the most important thing was that the ego is the servant of a jnani. So he can use it as an instrument, and it is not using him. So that is a big difference in how he will be doing his karmas, because it is not affected in any way. That is one of the main thing for me in the 73 talk that Guruji has done. And because the ego
What
is
does it mean, Padmaji, for you personally, in terms of your day-to-day living? What does it mean that ego is a servant and not not a master? What does it mean? How do you actionize it, or is it an actionable thing, or just
no?
understanding?
Most of the actions that we also do is coming out of the ego, right? We have various desires, and in fulfilling those, our actions are mostly driven in fulfilling those desires, whatever they are. And suppose that desire is not fulfilled, I'm becoming angry, I am upset, I am disappointed, I am sad that why the outcome is like this, why the outcome is like that. So on a day-to-day basis, when I get angry, I can always reflect that it is not the real I which is having all this anger. It is my ego which is not being satisfied, or which is saying that this is not right. What has come out as a result of what I have done is not right. So I am being angry, or I'm disappointed, or sometimes even I'm helpless to, I'm not able to change the outcome. So that is also creating anger within me. So when I go back to that point, or when I am reflecting on it, I can always come to a conclusion that, okay, this is the result of this, it is not the real I. And so that anger is meaningless, or it doesn't serve any purpose. So that can change our the way we look at the outcomes of our actions. Second, the fear aspect is most of us have a fear of losing our life, whether when we fall sick, or whether it is something else. It's always the fear of life that stops us from doing many things, or propelling us also to do many things. So that when that fear of life is not there for a jnani, so he is more centered, because he is willing to do what is to be done, rather than focusing on all the. I think most of what we do is driven by the result. It is always the result or the future that most of the actions are driven by. It is not at all focused mostly on the present moment or what is needed to be done. I think that starts changing when we are more aware of where the thoughts are coming and why they are coming. So observing our thoughts is more important, and becomes easier when you have this clarity that why am I feeling this way. That if we go into that, then the clarity slowly comes out, I think.
Excellent.
So that was the main thing for me from the 73 talk. 70 yeah, so 74 for me mostly was how's the action happening then. So the action of a jnani, I think it is comparable to the sun. Like the sun is only shining. It doesn't think about where the light is falling. Is it falling on this person? Should it fall on this person? So it is very non-judgmental, and it is doing what is needed to be done without any thought of who is getting this, whether they should be getting this or not. So I think a jnani's actions are like the sun, if I have to put it in one line. So it doesn't get affected by anything surrounding it. It's just light, and it's just there. So whoever is to get benefited from it will automatically get benefited. There is no the jnani doesn't have to think about that, or the sun doesn't think about all those things. So whatever has to happen will happen because of the jnani. Yeah, that is how.
Because of the jnani?
Yeah, I mean, his actions will be like that, is what I mean.
No, when we say because of something, we attribute, essentially we mean it as the cause. So is the cause
No. That is a correction, mistake on my part. Not because, but his actions will be like that, is what I mean.
So okay, let's go a little deeper into this question. So now, let's say, for example, there is sun shining and there is a plant growing. Is the plant growing because of the sun?
No, but sun is needed for its growth, right? So the sun is just there. It will take what it needs to be taken. Whatever the plant needs, it will take. The same sun can also burn the plant, right? For some plant that doesn't need so much light, maybe it might also burn. But then that is what it is what I'm trying to say. It is not like, so sun is just there. For some people, even for us, for some may like to be in the sun, so they will be outside, whereas who doesn't want to be, they might find a shade. So the sun is not going to change because of what you are feeling, right? It is just there and it is going to shine.
So, okay, so one is there is a viewpoint of the plant. The plant may say because of something, because of this, because of that. But what is the viewpoint of the sun?
Sun is just the light. That's what I'm saying. It's judgment, it's non-judgmental, right? And it's not thinking about who needs my light, whether this one needs this much percentage, the plant needs more, the human being can hide from me. All these thoughts are not coming. It is just shining. It is just there and shining. It's just existence. So that is how a jnani functions, is what I see. Like even Guruji, all these talks he does for so many hours, he doesn't need all this, right? He is doing it for us, for the benefit of others. So and he's not worried who is listening or who is taking what from this. I may be taking 20%, you may be taking 80% from his talk. That is up to us how we are responding to it. But he is just talking. Probably if nobody is there also, he will just spread the message what he has to give. So that is his greatness. Or so
with one way to put is the sun is shining continuously because it's dharma to do. We have seen that, right? So you do your dharma, and how others get benefited by it, it's up to them on like how much they're ready to receive. But the way the world order is maintained by each one following its own dharma, right? So yeah.
Very nice. Yes, Padmaji, please continue. Yeah, Shubhaji, you wanted to ask something or say something?
No, just the example of lotus, how it doesn't get affected in the muddy water. Example, I just wanted to quote that.
So in this context, how are you connecting that?
No, we are not disturbed by the outer things. How a jnani doesn't get disturbed by whatever is happening around him. He is focused on what he is supposed to do. Padmaji was talking about Prabhuji, right? So I was just saying, I just wanted to give this example. That's it. How the lotus doesn't get disturbed with the same way he doesn't get disturbed. It's all the traits of a jnani.
Very nice. Padmaji, anything more?
No, sir, that is the, I mean, that was what was the crux for me from the two talks. Of course, he also talks about how in everything, a jnani is able to see the entire universe and not just that particular object, which again fascinated me because our thoughts are not like that. So to have that kind of an outlook, to see the whole universe in even a grain of sand is something very huge, I feel. Yeah, it's and that's why I think he says that for a jnani, the world is always a mystery. Maybe it always also seems new every day. It's not like for us, like we have some preconceived notions about how this is, how that is. When you don't have all that, the world will appear new every day, is what I thought.
Like,
So
like a child.
yeah,
looking
yeah.
at the world.
Like a child, yeah, everything is fascinating, everything is attractive, everything is new. Yeah.
Excellent.
Actually, it's very practical as well, because I've seen that, like, when you interact with individuals at a given moment, how they act or express is not just limited to that moment. All the background of some maybe hours or days would have, like, will influence how a person talks, or what they talks, or how it reacts at a given time. So, but if you take only that moment, you will be completely mistaken, and, like, you may react in a very, very different way. But if I can, like, that incident with Buddha, where they go to seek alms, and one lady comes out and looks at him, shouts and spits, and, like, he's just standing undisturbed totally. And then he says, right, it's like, while the example was given is like, on the receiving part, like, why are because he was not disturbed, because he didn't receive it. But it is not that moment. If you, then he says that, like, there are a lot of other events that have pushed that lady to that state, and which made her to act that way, right? So it's a mystery. You cannot confidently take a particular situation or act just like that, right?
Excellent, excellent. So the sense of confidence as the ego that we display is totally misplaced.
Is
Very
nice. Yes, Padmaji, anything more?
No, sir. I was just contemplating on one thing that Guruji said in that video, where he says that for a jnani, both the subject and object are mithya, and the thoughts will come, which he knows is mithya. So after saying all that, he will say that whatever you see outside is Atma only. So I'm like, it is incomprehensible for me, like, whatever you see outside, what is outside of that? Because all we know is this object, subject, and all that, right? So when he says that, it's something to be deeply pondered upon. Yeah.
Okay, so let's frame it, properly. So, what is the question that you are raising?
no, I was also trying to picturize what Padmaji said, and I couldn't, and it ended up with
it
something
is like beyond the scope of my mind, is what I felt like.
Correct.
in the sense, like, there is
That's
this.
why I said it's incomprehensible, because I don't know. That's why I think that's why in earlier video, one of the videos, I think Guruji only would have said that even to be a jnani, right, you will have one concept, like this is how a jnani is. That is your major block. Probably that's why it's all incomprehensible, because again, we are trying to put that jnani also in that framework of whatever our understanding of a jnani is. Because it's not an object or something that we can see, right? So if a flower is red, I'll say, okay, flower is red, but this is something like that infinity concept, you can never say what is infinite.
Awareness.
Yeah, you only know the word for it, but you don't know what it actually means from the point of view of your senses and mind. You don't know what it is. So something like that is what I felt when Guruji said that. So
Excellent. So,
Um,
whatever you just now described.
yeah, so what I said was, for a jnani, both the subject and object are mithya. So the thoughts are still coming, which he knows is a mithya. Okay, so whatever you see outside of that is Atma only.
Now, when you say whatever you see outside of that, outside of what?
Yeah, I don't know. The statement is like that. I don't know if he has used the word that, but that statement itself, like whatever you see outside is Atma only. Again, is it within the scope of the mind only he's talking, or there is, for a jnani, there is no, I mean, how do I put that?
To define inside outside, there has to be some kind of a boundary.
Yeah, that's what. So that's what I mean. For if he's talking from our perspective, then it has to be from the mind, right? The mind is the one that is limiting for us. So
now, when you say mind is limiting, it
Sorry?
is in the same limited mind that you're also able to now express something which is unlimited.
Sorry, sir, I didn't get your question.
Right now, whatever the expression that you've been offering is being offered through the mind only.
Correct. Yes.
Yeah. So when it is said, it is not limited, or it is beyond the mind, what is that? That is being indicated?
Brahman.
See, while expressing, it crystallizes. It takes the shape and form. But behind the expression, what is behind the expression? Who is expressing?
It's awareness only. Yeah.
Who is expressing? And that you has no such limitations.
So then why that statement itself?
So therefore, let's frame the question.
Yeah. Can I add to Padmaji's
help me
support? So the way I was trying to picturize is there is only Brahman, and it to get the right word. The whole world is nothing but the expression of the Brahman. Okay, and through this body mind, when I see, I can only see the body mind outside, okay, or the world. But again, each one of those seen is powered, or they exist because of the same source that is allowing me to see, which is Brahman again. So
can we bring one clarity there? Look at the sentences you used. I see other body and minds. So which means that the point of reference is you as a body and mind. So you are defining
the
your
sense
body
organs
and mind as a boundary, and you define it.
The sense organs the body mind, meaning the senses of this body mind, without using the word I here, this body mind looks at the other objects in the world. Okay. And the thing is, this body mind is powered by the Brahman, and what is seen, they also exist by this powered by the same source, which is Brahman. So that's where like you see that Sarvam Kalvidam Brahma, right? So all are expressions of the same Brahman finally, but then like they that one shows up as many, and which is how this body is seeing so many things.
Okay, so did you frame it as a question, or you said you wanted to help Padmaji?
No, this is my understanding of that statement. What Padmaji was also saying, right? And I was trying to put that picturize it, saying like there is only Brahman, and like from that Brahman, like all these objects are there. Where this body, Saravanan as a body is also an object there. Right? So there is all are objects, but they are all powered by the same source. And
So,
I am in
so
the.
Padmaji, are you able to frame your thoughts into question?
So Padmaji, is that in line with what you're saying?
No, I can understand what you're saying, but you are able to see everything because of the light that is shining through you, no?
Yeah.
I mean, I am not worried about why.
1 minute, just reflect on the statement. You are able to see everything because of the light shining through you.
No, sir. Like he made a statement, right? Like whatever, if there is Brahman is the one that is the light that is powering all the
Yes.
other people that you see around, right? That is what you said, right, Saravananji? Yeah. So I am not worried about what I am seeing, because the moment I close my eyes, nobody's there. So I am only seeing as I am I mean, it's in my sense of perspective that I am seeing all of you as well, is how I see it. So what I didn't understand is because Guruji was talking about Jnani only, right? So I'm not understanding the statement, whatever you see outside. So was that from our perspective? And then what is this outside? Like Vijay sir said, outside is what? Because for a Jnani, the mind won't be restricted, right? It is only for us that it is limited.
Now, for you also, let us look at it this way, Padmaji. Have you ever seen anything outside of your mind? Have you ever seen anything else?
No, that's why
outside?
I'm saying it's limited, no, sir.
No, where is it limited? It is limited in the perception. It is limited in when see the instrument of seeing is the same between a jnani and again, let's go back to this picture. Let's go back to this picture where we've been contemplating on how a GV looks at the world and how a jnani looks at the world. The instruments of perception are same. So where is the difference then? Where is the boundary then? Where is the limitation then? Senses are similar. They report back to the mind. There is a function of the power of the mind, which is similar. Where is the difference?
It's in that ego only, ego part.
The limitation is this I is the one which says that I am separate. And it has taken this, some very solid form, of a man, woman, whatever, right? Body-based identity and a mind-based identity. Mother, father, boss, whatever. So this is the standpoint of any kind of interpretation of the experience, isn't it? So from this standpoint, there is a I. And of course, when there is a I, there has to be you.
Yeah.
So the I and the you are created because of this wrong understanding. Whereas in the Gnani, there is this same instrument. There is also at that point in time ego that appears. If you ask Guruji, he will talk about his background, his mother, father, all his relationship, like anybody else does. But what is the difference then? The difference is both of them are experiencing the unlimited. One is limited by the thought process that binds. For the GV, that I am a GV is the limitation. Otherwise, the nature of experience is the same. So the GV acts out of the illusion that I am a limited being. That boundary, the solid boundary the GV has put upon himself or herself is what limits. And that's why the GV uses the memory for all interpretations. So all the judgments are from the past about the future.
Correct.
So the limitation is not in, in the instrument. The limitation is in the thought that limits the GV. And that limiting thought is arising from the sense of I, which is separate from rest everything else. Otherwise, it is universal only experience.
Yeah.
Suddenly for the Jnani, the picture is not changing. I mean, the way the picture is sent is not changing. But the standpoint of looking at it, which was crystallized, I am a body and mind, that has dissolved, that has disappeared. So for the same flower, a small baby, 4-year-old baby looks at it, and 30-year-old, 40-year-old looks at it. Notice, who notices many things? Who has many things to talk about that flower?
The child.
How? Because there is no limitation of the I-ness. So now come back. Let's come back. We wanted to frame the question, because once when you frame the question properly, then whatever the train of thoughts you are having will become clear. So how would you frame your question for whatever the doubt you said you had?
Okay, so now there is no outside. This is one thing that I know. So I think I have to think now what is the question now again.
If the question has disappeared, good.
Yeah, actually it did, because the question was about the outside part. So outside of what is what I was wondering. So yeah, I think there is no question, sir. Yeah.
Because the outside and inside happens because of the crystallization of the thought.
Yeah.
The thought crystallizes something which is unbroken into a broken reality. It is naturally unbroken, naturally whole. That is how it is. But the instrument of the thinking based on the ego breaks it.
Yeah.
That artificial breaking is the cause of all pain and suffering.
Yeah. Yes, sir, there is no question.
All right. Anything more you want to add, Padmaji, and 74?
No, sir.
So, Vijayji, there will be still this, at least this dualness of I am Satya and there is Mithya outside. I am Purusha and there is Prakriti. Though it is still the it is still not other than Brahman, but this Satya, Mithya and the Purusha Prakriti, that will always be there.
Okay, so what is the question? Is the question that even in a Gnani, is there a Purusha Prakriti separation?
That like Jnani sees, but he sees as Mithya, so he's not disturbed.
See, the moment you say
He's
Gnani
Satya.
sees Mithya, there has to be some kind of a seer who is interpreting, right? So the very act of interpretation, what does it do? The very act of interpretation, is it reality? Is it happening in the now? Any interpretation.
No, is it like it is Jnani also sees the changing world, right?
Correct. But the question is about interpretation.
Yeah.
Is an interpretation about, oh, what I'm seeing is Mithya, oh, I am Purusha. What is the who? Somebody has to interpret.
So Jnani will not be disturbed because disturbed by what is being reported by his body mind, because he is clear that there is this changing reality. And
so it is as natural. It is as natural. See, there is no interpretation, right? It is just a natural phenomena. However, when somebody asks a question, how come you're so calm? So many things are happening. What enabled you to be calm? Then the Gnani has to give an answer that appeals to the questioner. So please see, this interpretation is coming because of the question that the questioner is asking. Otherwise, for a Gnani, for the child, why are you enjoying life? There is no answer. Because that is its nature. It is simply in enjoyment.
Yeah,
but the adult wants to know, why are you enjoying? What's so great about it? What's so special about it? It has to answer something.
It's funny, right? If someone asks Jnani that the questioner himself is part of the Mithya, that like he is not that serious about.
That's why Prabhuji always says, I don't answer the question, I address the questioner. So the question is, the answers are never really to add more information to the question. There's no information baggage that the Gnani gives.
Yeah, because answering a question will bring the next question, and it can be infinite questions.
Yes.
And the questioner here, you mean the intent behind the question.
So there is this created entity, ego, right?
Yeah, ego. Yeah, the ego is ego is behind that question. Yeah, but the funny thing is, for a Jnani, that questioner, that ego is also Mithya. It's like, it keeps changing. So the questioner, even physically, it's same person, but that questioner has changed from question 1 to question 2 to question 3.
Even physically, it's not the same.
It's not the same. Yeah.
That's why Prabhuji keeps getting the same question 100 million times, and he has to keep answering that 20 million times differently.
yeah. That way that mithya is entertaining that satya. It is still there, right? The duality is still there. That
it's an okay. So to who the duality is still there?
even the
You are the one who is interpreting this whole scenario, right? Right now, to who the duality is still there?
yeah. Me as part of that
From your
mithya for
standpoint, the
jnani.
way you are interpreting, you are reporting all this.
Okay.
And there is absolutely no way for you to know the standpoint of a jnani, because it will continue to be in your mind's interpretation. How can you ever experience somebody else's experience?
Yeah, that is incomprehensible. It's like that infinite.
You're only experiencing through your own sense of limitation or whatever, knowing or unknowing or not knowing, whatever is always happening only within you. You've never ever seen anything else outside of you.
Yeah. Yeah, when I am questioning, then I am not in that awareness state, because the one in awareness will not have a question. Yeah. Okay.
So you see, even the questioner is now has started to appear and disappear. That's why Prabhuji has a statement, no? Ego will never find the answer, and self has no questions.
Mind has no question, Atma has no problem.
So Gayatri ji is saying that mind has no solution, Atma has no problem.
Yeah. Yeah, I think.
Look at the smile on Saravanan-ji's face.
It's something, I think.
Yeah.
Something. Yeah, I'm figuring out where I am now, which side I am in.
Shubhaji, our Panch Mata.
All these things has put me into so many questions. Like, why do we even see children are like the when a child is born, it has no ego, nothing, right? That is the state we are all looking for. So why do we even push that child into this world of all this misery? And then again, you realize it's like a cycle from 1 to 10, then again from 10 to 1. So
there's a distinction you need to recognize. A child-like adult is different from a child. So a child is definitely in joy. But is a child joyful because of clear recognition and unwavering merger? Is it a recognition-based childlike? Or it's a childlike because of lack of information? See, because what is happening? Impressions are coming to the child, right? And if the child is, say, Shankaracharya, or if the child is, say, Amma, or the child is Krishna, then that's a different child. So when you say a child, you're talking about the body, as a small boy, as a small child, But I am not referring to the body as a child. The childlikeness in a jnani. Meaning what? That simple, natural innocence. But there is clarity. when needed. So there is no childishness. Childishness is silliness, don't know what to do.
Just now, Guruji has sent a message. He said, children live in the feeling, whereas adults have a disease called thinking. So he said, you are more closer to reality when you are in the feeling domain rather than thinking domain. And thinking is useful, but 99.9% of the time, what we do is unconscious thinking, which is a disease. Any thought that is not actionable is a disease, unconscious thought. He was actually typing while the class was going on.
Yeah, most of the adults, when we become adults, most of our thinking is not required at all. Yeah, correct.
Yeah, but that thinking is because of the separate identity. Right?
Yeah, ego.
That identity is what tries to be alive and triggers all the thoughts to feed itself and to become stronger.
See, and that is why, right knowledge has to be given to the child. So the Upanayana Sanskara is done at the age of 7. So that is actually Brahma Upadesham. The child is already given that knowledge. That is how the tradition is. What it has become is a separate issue. But the Upanayana Sanskara means now you look at the world in the way it is. Because as the mind starts to develop, that is what the transition you see, right? Around 7, 8, 9. There is a sense of separatedness that starts developing in that child. Till then, the child is very happy, simple, innocent. So the right knowledge, therefore, is given at the early age itself. And then the child can blossom. Because blossoming is a natural expression of life itself. So even when Shubhaji, you say society is pushing the child, that's the nature of existence. That's the nature of how life itself is. Life is not stagnant at all. It expresses. Continuous expression is the nature of life. Anything else, Shubhaji?
No, sir. Thank you.
Anything more you would like to say about the 74, Shubhaji?
74, I haven't gone through, sir. I was going through that Jnani part more and reading in other materials also. So I'll come back for 74 next week.
Okay. All
I
right.
got stuck in that Jnani only, reading other materials.
Good. Because we always look forward to your punches. All right. So, Saravananji and Padmaji, how many more talks we have? 75 and up to 77, right?
27 is the last.
77. Okay. All
Yeah,
right.
77 last.
Okay. All right. So it may look like another 2-3 sessions.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Anything else anybody wants to bring up? Gayatri ji.
Sir, I have a request. Gayatri ji, could you please share that Guruji's message once again about that child in the group, or maybe you can just share it with Vijay sir so we can.
No, she's in the group. No, she can put it in the group only. Oh,
Yeah.
you're not in the group. Oh, okay. Yeah.
I'll share it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. So then we'll end our today's session with prayer.
Om Asato Ma Satgamaya Tamaso Ma Jyotirgamaya Mrityorma Amritam Gamaya. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om, lead me from untruth to truth, darkness to light, impermanence to permanence. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om, that is complete. This is complete. When completeness is removed from completeness, what remains is complete. When completeness is added to completeness, totality remains complete. Om, peace, peace, peace. Nanu, nanenbadu, nanalla, ideha, manabuddhi, nanalla, Sachidanandatma, Shivananu Nane, Shivoham, Shivoham, Shivoham. I am not the body, mind, intellect. I am pure consciousness, Shiva Swarupi. Atmadarshanam, Brahmadarshanam, Brahmadarshanam, Satyadarshanam. Recognition of self is recognition of the whole. Recognition of the whole is the truth. Om Trayambakam Yajamahe Sugandhim Pushtivardhanam Urvarukamiva Bandhanan Mrityormukshiyamamritat. Om Trayambakam Yajamahe Sugandhim Pushtivardhanam Urvarukamiva Bandhanan Mrityormukshiyamamritat. Om Trayambakam Yajamahe Sugandhim Pushtivardhanam Urvarukamiva Bandhanan Mrityormukshiyamamritat. We worship the three-eyed one, who is fragrant and who nourishes all. Like the fruit falls off from the bondage of the stem, may we be liberated from death, from mortality. Lokaha samasta sukhino bhavantu. Lokaha samasta sukhino bhavantu. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. May all beings be happy, healthy, and peaceful. Hari Om Tat Sat.
Thank you. Thank you all.
Hari Om, sir. Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hari Om.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you, Gayatri ji.
Thank you, Gayatri.
Thank you, Gayatri ji.